NATO Secretary-General urges allies to step up the supply of weapons and ammunition to Ukraine.
Thousands of Ukrainian children are still abducted in Russia or in the occupied territories.
Israeli forces kill 6 aid seekers and wound dozens in a strike on Rafah.
Dutch anti-Islam populist leader Geert Wilders has abandoned his bid to become the country's new prime minister.
On the eve of Russia's presidential elections, NATO Secretary-General urged member states to step up military supplies to Ukraine. Jens Stoltenberg said the US-led alliance cannot allow authoritarian leaders to get their way by using force.
The Ukrainians are not running out of courage. They are running out of ammunition. Every day of delay has real consequences on the battlefield in Ukraine. So this is a critical moment, and it will be a grave historic mistake to allow Putin to prevail.
After more than 2 years of war, Ukraine's military has been grappling recently with a significant reduction in weapon supplies from the West. Vladimir Putin is set to win a third consecutive term as president in elections that Stoltenberg says will not be free or fair.
The European Parliament and Ukraine are asking for new efforts to secure the release of abducted Ukrainian children still in Russia and the occupied territories. At the European Parliament plenary session in Strasbourg, Valeria, a Ukrainian teenager, recalled her 2-month stay in Russia. She was not kidnapped by Russian forces, but sent there by her family to continue her studies.
Ставлення в коледжі було дуже жахливе. Викладачі ставилися зверхньо саме до українських дітей в гуртожитку, персонал гуртожитку. Нас контролювали, нас слідкували за нами, а однолітки, самі місцеві діти, однолітки, травили та був булінг.
Valeria tried to leave the college a couple of times before she could escape thanks to the NGO Voices of Children. She never felt safe in Russia, but the situation continued later.
Це було вже після того, як я повернулася додому, мені дівчата з гуртожитку писали у соціальні мережі і погрожували. Погрожували, обзивали.
Her situation is not unique. The NGO Voices of Children thinks it's affecting many of the children who have been forced to go to Russia.
When children are being deported there, they are being let's say, indoctrinated and brainwashed by Russian propaganda, so they are denied in access to any kind of Ukrainian media, any kind of news from Ukraine, and they are experiencing the total denial of existing of Ukrainian nation.
The Ukrainian government believes there are around 19,000 children forcibly displaced. Only around 400 have been able to return home.
Israeli forces opened fire on Palestinians waiting for food aid in Gaza City, killing 6 and wounding at least 83 others, according to local media. The attack comes hours after Israel bombed a United Nations food distribution center in southern Rafah City, killing at least 5 people, including an aid worker. A UN spokesperson said the attacks indicate there is less and less respect for humanitarian work. Israel is planning to transfer about 1.4 million Palestinians trapped in Rafah ahead of a significant offensive on the city, where it says Hamas maintain 4 battalions. Humanitarian aid groups have warned an attack on Rafah would be catastrophic. Meanwhile, the IDF has published a video showing a drone strike on a moving vehicle carrying a Hamas official in Lebanon. According to the IDF, the Hamas official Hadi Mustafa was killed in a strike near the southern Lebanese city of Tyre. 1 other person was reportedly killed in the strike.
Dutch anti-Islam populist leader Geert Wilders has abandoned his bid to become the country's new prime minister. Wilders took to X to say he doesn't have the support of his prospective coalition partners to become the next Dutch prime minister. He had spent months in talks with the centre-right VVD, New Social Contract and BBB Farmers parties. Talks with 3 other parties over the shape of a new government are ongoing. Wilders has previously called for a ban on mosques, Islamic schools and the Quran.
Tributes continue to pour in for the leader of Bulgaria's Orthodox Christian Church. Patriarch Neophyte passed away on Wednesday from multiple organ failure after a long illness. Parliamentarians observed a minute of silence for the 78-year-old. He was the first elected head of the church in the post-Soviet era and sought to restore its reputation tainted by links to the communist secret police. Orthodox Christians make up over 80% of the country's nearly 7 million people.
Serious cases of violence and harassment have led the Belgian Ministry of Defence to disband an army platoon. The victims have been placed under protection. The alleged aggressors were dismissed or transferred to other units. Administrative and judicial investigations are underway.
Nous parlons entre autres de traitements dégradants, de coups et blessures, de chantage, de menaces entre soldats, de pression exercée par des militaires sur des pairs et d'une obligation de silence sur ces faits.
Violence and harassment lasted several months or even years and involved officers, non-commissioned officers and less experienced soldiers.
Dat is een heel zware beslissing, uniek in de geschiedenis of de recente geschiedenis van Defensie. Dat gaat dwars door het hart van de militair. Een eenheid die ontbonden wordt. Maar het was nodig. Het was nodig om de integriteit te kunnen verder garanderen.
The Ministry of Defence became aware of accusations following an email sent from a relative of an alleged victim. Pope Francis's autobiography is expected to reveal surprising details about his life. It will go on sale March 19th. Excerpts from Life, My Story Through History have already been disclosed by the Italian press. Some reveal the 88-year-old's experience of major historical events. Others say he was engaged as a young man, but eventually chose priesthood over marriage. Reports suggest the book will also shed light on controversies within the Vatican.
The European Parliament has approved the first ever EU legislation on safeguarding press freedoms, called the Media Freedom Act. The law aims to protect newsrooms from political pressure and oligarchs and stop spyware being used against journalists. Due to the bill, media outlets will have to publish details about their ownership, while the EU will also investigate how state advertisement spending is shared.
Con esta regulación queremos que los ciudadanos tengan un acceso directo a quién les está informando, quién es el propietario de este medio de comunicación que actualmente sabemos que es una cuestión que está muy escondida. Por otro lado, tema de las concentraciones, que haya independencia editorial, porque es una regulación que también pretende proteger a los periodistas y proteger la libertad de prensa y la independencia editorial.
The Media Freedom Act was put forward by European Commission Vice President Vera Jourova, mostly because of disinformation permeating Hungary and Poland's media landscapes in recent years. In both countries, Brussels has criticised government influence over national broadcasters, but Hungarian pro-government MEPs claim the law threatens media freedom.
Az uniós szabályozás célja, hogy csak Brüsszel hangja szólhasson a tagállami nyilvánosságban, hogy elnyomják a nemzeti és keresztény konzervatív véleményeket, értékeket.
The Commission has rejected these claims, saying the law will not limit freedom of speech. The law also aims to prevent big online platforms from deleting or restricting independent media content.
Every year, key players in the European animation industry are brought together in Bordeaux for the 3-day cartoon movie festival. Nearly 1,000 producers and broadcasters from 35 countries come together to discuss current and future film and television productions.
Doing an international or European co-production is the interest of Cartoon Movie. This was one of the reasons why we started 26 years ago with this program, because it opens borders, it makes films more known. It is not only on national level, but also on international level.
The days are organised around artistic and financial pitches for projects currently in production. There are normally 55 projects from 16 European countries.
Adult animation is becoming a tool to tell stories sometimes which are more, I will not say easier, but more logical to tell into the style of animation as documentary or as fiction. We see also, of course, some mixtures of styles with a hybrid, and it is really becoming a new genre.
This year, Pester, a co-production between Norway, Germany and France, won the prestigious Euro-Images Prize for Co-Production Development, awarded every year at Cartoon Movie. It tells of the tragic and improbable love story between Astrid and pagan Eliv. Since its first edition in 1999, Cartoon Movie has helped 467 films to find funding, totaling over €3 billion.